Our trash hurts the most vulnerable too. More than 1 in 10 species that have fallen victim to marine debris are threatened with extinction. Where does all our rubbish end up? As much as 70% of marine litter has been estimated to end up on the seabed. But there is good news. Scuba divers everywhere are standing up to the onslaught of debris, fins on and off. We're removing debris underwater and logging the data to influence change at all levels. On land, we can work together to stop rubbish from entering the ocean. We can help inform community action, drive changes in infrastructure and waste management policies, and identify local solutions. Don't let your dives go to waste. Dive against debris. Together, we can help prevent.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Cunanan. Tonight's topic is International Coastal Cleanup 2016. And joining me is the Secretary General of ICC Olongapo, Dave Bayarong. Dave, welcome back to our third and final segment. Now, before we stop for our break in the second segment, we saw a nice video about someone in Olongapo. I think it was then Councilor John Cortez giving a very impassioned speech. What is this about, this event?
This event is actually the launching of the last year's International Coastal Cleanup, dubbed as Making River Possible. And our Vice Mayor has giving out a speech and actually having a roar for the people, not to do it now rather than do it later. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't do it next week. Do it now. There's a big problem.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, that's really what's needed here, a paradigm shift, a change in the way people think, because the problem is the people. The problem is the people throwing the trash in the water, and if people just stop doing that, then we wouldn't have this problem, no? Mm-hmm. And let's talk about the International Coastal Cleanup. This happens once a year, but really, it really is more symbolic than anything. I mean, what can you really accomplish in one day, right? So even if you did this every day, the entire year, it would still not really make a dent in the amount of trash that's being thrown out there.
Correct,
right?
correct. Actually, we do this, as you say, this is a very symbolic thing on 17, no, on September 17. And this is just to have our kids and also the NGOs and all of the people really see how many trash is being collected in our coastline. This is not just because we only see, if it's just ourselves, we only see probably just a handful of trash. You see, I only throw this amount of trash naman eh, it's okay. But if you go to the coastline, if you go to the ocean where there is literally an ocean of trash or a coastline of trash, then that's the time that you see yourself, that you think and you say to yourself, this is really bad.
Yes, yes. And I have to say that very admirable really how everyone in Olongapo and Zambales, Greater Zambales, has come together to help. Like we have the LGU, Local Government of Olongapo. You have SBMA, you've got the NGO, civil society, you've got the barangays. You said every barangay in Olongapo City has a certain area,
Yes.
that they're responsible for.
Yes, probably this is would be very, very an active barangays that we have, and it is probably the only LGU in the Philippines that does that. Every barangay has their own site, and they manage their own site. Not just those are small barangays that only have one site, but the biggest barangay that we have 2 to 3 sites that they manage. And that's where all the volunteers come in. Because before, when we have this amount of people, we only have one site, one in Olongapo City, one in SBMA, and a lot of people comes there, and it's mostly not manageable because of the number of people. You have 7,000 people in one area. It's
it's useless.
It's useless.
Yeah,
some of the people just go there, take pictures, and then go. So what we saw was, it's not just in the coastline. It's an end product. The trash that you see in the coastline, it's probably an end product of the trash being thrown in the canals,
the river,
in the rivers, and all of this drainage. That's why we've tapped all of these barangay captains, and they're very helpful in Olongapo City. That's why I want to thank all of our barangay captains, all of our barangay workers, that they stepped up for this International Coastal Cleanup, so that in their barangays, in their own little space, in their place, they do the cleanup as well.
No, very admirable, and I wish that other chapters of ICC in the Philippines can work with LGUs like this, and other LGUs can follow the lead, the example of Olongapo, and get everyone involved. No.
We hope, I really hope that all of, not just some, but all of our LGUs here in the Philippines, province, municipalities, and also cities, go to this ICC, look at it. You can go to Olongapo City, you can talk to us, and we can show you how we do
The
this.
model of,
The
of how you
the
guys
model
did
of
it.
how we do it, and you can recreate it in your city, in your municipality, in your province, and probably one day, not just next year, probably in the next 10 years, probably in the next 20 years, we will be have a trash-free environment.
I hope.
Hoping.
I hope. Yeah, because one of the speakers in the other video we saw was very vocal when he said, "Focus on a trash-free life." Right? It means letting go of plastics, keeping it to a minimum, the use to a minimum, no?
Actually,
Recycling.
Actually, there is one video. I saw one video in YouTube, and he's a blogger that he's really reducing his plastic consumption. Not just probably plastic, but trash. Zero trash. He's not putting trash into his garbage bin for like the whole year.
Yeah.
This is practically just managing whatever you buy, whatever you use, whatever you bring back, and to make sure that everything that you, because if you buy something, for example, plastic bottles, you can reuse it. For example, other kinds of plastic, you can do something else. I'll give you an example. With the amount of plastic bottles that we saw in one video
Yeah.
kanina, that is nga, probably 10 times the Eiffel Tower. Back in 2010, relating this one to one of my passion, which is football, no? Back in 2010 World Cup, most of the major brands recycled these PET bottles and make it into a high-level performance jersey. So the jerseys that you saw back in
Yeah.
2010 and probably after that up to now are recycled from PET bottles.
Yeah. So I guess it's a combination really of number one, recycling and trying to lessen our footprint, our plastic footprint by using less plastics or maybe reusing them, using, as you said, eco-friendly bags, paper bags, things like that, made from recyclable fibers and stuff. And very important, throwing the trash where it's supposed to be thrown, right?
That
really is the
really
biggest
is the
problem.
biggest problem that we have. As I've said a while ago, we have Olongapo City has a very efficient trash collection, and still we encounter that kind of trash thrown into the rivers, into the canals, and into the ocean.
And you guys in ICC, aside from doing this once a year cleanup of the coast, you also do, I understand quickly, you also do tours and school tours and educational programs to help, make people aware of this problem, no?
Yes, we go to schools, especially their flag ceremony where all of the kids are in the main grounds, and we discuss to them and we educate them with regards to trash and what kind of trash are being thrown, the number one trash, those kinds of datas, so that they can really quantify on their head what's happening in our environment. Apart from that, we also have what we call the International Coastal Cleanup Recyclable Regatta, where barangays, private companies recycled all of these PET bottles and different kinds of things, make them into a boat, and then we have a competition. They race their boat into 100 meters or 200 meters race, and then that's a good thing, because even with those boats, they recycle that boats. They can put it into their barangay. Disaster comes, you can use those boats.
During floods, ganyan,
During
no?
floods,
Perfect,
during
perfect.
any disasters.
Now, very admirable what you guys are doing in ICC. My question is, you've been doing this for several years. Do you feel like you're making a dent in changing the way people think? Because I think that's the biggest challenge and the most important thing, to change the way people think. Are you making a difference? Do you feel it happening? Do you feel people changing the way they think about how they use plastics and raising awareness of the proper way to dispose of these?
Yes, I think we do. We do make even a small dent would be good. Again, this is an advocacy that we don't see this as a very short term. we see this as a very long-term advocacy that we are having, because as you said, we started this 8 years ago back in 2008, and up until now we keep on doing it. And the number of people that is coming to volunteer just to make a show of volunteer, and they are saying that, okay, now here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna be a much more responsible person in throwing our trash. That's why with all the data that we are gathering now, some of our restaurants in Olongapo City has banned using plastic straw. You cannot, if you get the soft drinks or you get this kind of drinks in the restaurant, they won't give you any straw anymore.
Or maybe use recyclable straws made from biodegradable material. Not plastic.
Biodegradable material, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly, we have about a minute to close. What are the highlights of September 17th events? Are there something that, what are the main events happening that day?
So the main events that are happening in the International Coastal Cleanup Olongapo City will be having, as I've said, we'll be having the recyclable regatta, and we'll be having the day itself, or we call it the D-Day, which is September 17, where all of the volunteers go into all of the sites and clean and make use of the data card so that we can have all of these datas. And also on September 30, we will be having the International Coastal Cleanup Summit, where we'll be we'll be having a lot of speakers coming in, international and also locally.
Great.
Our keynote speaker for that would be our very own Secretary of DNR, Miss Lopez.
Wow, Gina Lopez. So
Gina
our
Lopez.
environment warrior. Yes.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you for coming to the show. Would you like to say something to the audience before we go? Maybe tell them how to volunteer, how to get information about this event happening in Olongapo on the 17th?
On the 17th, again, I would like to encourage everyone, all of the Filipinos, not just Filipinos, all around the world, everybody, to volunteer on September 17th for the International Coastal Cleanup. That is the third Saturday of September. For more information, you can go to the ICC website, the icc.ph, and you can register there online, wherever you are. Either in the Philippines or you are all over the country, you can go and register online.
Thank you very much, Dave. And bravo, good work, and good luck on the 17th. And more power to you guys. Keep up this advocacy.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed our show tonight on the coming International Coastal Cleanup on September 17. Join us again next week here in the show, where we talk about what matters to you guys, because you guys matter most. See you next week.